Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are in beautiful crime-free downtown Memphis testing the Caroma K4. Recently Caroma sent me this new scooter. This is brand new off the line. They are just now introducing it to the public and this thing is so cool. I want to take you out for a test ride today so you can see what's different about this compared to the last one that I got. There's a lot of changes and some really cool upgrades to the latest line of electric scooters from Caroma. But let me get my helmet on, let's get on the road so I can tell you all about it. Now, of course, as usual, most of the Caroma scooters come about 95% assembled. They're super easy to put together. Really, all you've got to do is stick on an item or two, like the handlebars and the front wheel. On this particular one, you had to attach the brakes, but overall, it's a very simple assembly and really nothing that somebody with very basic experience with doing this stuff can't pull off. Now, like the D3, this one has got a 500 watt motor with an 800 and something watt peak capacity. It's not a hot running scooter by any means, but it's definitely going to get the job done. Now, the reason I chose this particular environment for this video is I think that of all the possible uses for this particular model of scooter, downtown urban life is perfect. Whether you're just trying to commute back and forth to work or just have something to go to the grocery store with, or if you've got a side hustle and you're trying to make a few bucks doing something like Uber Eats or something like that, this scooter is perfect for that. Now, one of the things that makes this scooter stand out from its predecessor is the frame. It is built much more like a bike than a scooter, but instead of the flat deck for your feet, this one has two small foot pegs that fold out of the side of the scooter. This allows for the placement of the battery to be behind the seat as opposed to in the deck. And where that really makes a difference in an environment like this, if you're like in a downtown urban environment, is that this has a removable battery. When I get to where I'm going, I can just take the battery out. I don't have to worry about the most important thing about this scooter being stolen with the rest of it. In fact, somebody seeing that there's not a battery in it is probably just going to walk on. It makes for a great security addition to this particular model. If you're using this for doing DoorDash, just pull up to the business, lock up your scooter, take your battery out, go in and get your stuff, come back out, pop the battery in place, you're back on the road. Another great thing about this is I can go places like this. Places I can't go with a car. As long as there's scooters and e-bikes and stuff for rent in the area, it is perfectly legal for me to ride here. This scooter's got a top speed of 20 miles per hour, which is how they keep it street legal, and it has a range of 30 miles. That does limit your ability to do things like DoorDash in a larger area. But if you're choosing to do business in a small urban environment like this, it's perfect. Let me show y'all something real quick. Some of y'all may recognize this area. This little park has been used in several movies. One major one that featured this little fountain up ahead of me was The Firm. They did a lot of shooting for that movie right around this little square. You know, one of the cool things about a scooter like this is if you are traveling and you can bring this with you, it's a great way to get around tight urban environments like this that you can't do in a car. You can cover a lot more ground than you can on foot. And you don't have to worry about some janky rent-a-scooter. This thing's also really good for things like coffee runs and going and getting a quick bite somewhere. But mostly, urban exploration, this is made for this. The scooter handles really well, zips in and out of spaces. No complaints at all about the handling. On the front, of course, we've got a headlight, and we've got these 20 by 3 fat tires This is one of my favorite things on these scooters. I love scooters and e-bikes with fat tires. I like the ability to grip the terrain and feel confident it's not going to come out from under me. On the front, you've got full suspension. Some nice forks to soften that ride. You got a headlight and a reflector. And the basket. This is a really cool feature here. I like the ability to fold up this basket and keep it out of the way when I'm not using it. I will say though that at first it takes some getting used to because this is fixed to the down tube and it does not move when you move the handlebars. So sometimes it looks like it's out of alignment. In the cockpit, we've got a few things, but really the only electronic display is our energy level. So you have to keep an eye on that because of the fact that this is a scooter and not a bike. Once you run out of juice, you are done. There's a power button to turn it on. Over here, we've got a bell. Then we've got our headlight controls and cruise control. Down at the bottom, we've got those foot pegs I mentioned earlier. Instead of having a deck, you've got those two pegs. But what's cool is on the back of it, you've got a seat for a passenger. And that passenger has their own foot pegs. The seat is very comfortable. It's wide enough and it gives enough support. Fenders are made of steel. Got stamped steel fenders. This thing has a great quality feel to it. I am really impressed with the overall structure of it. Fit and finish is really good. I haven't found anything on here that just stares at me and says, I don't like this. Got disc brakes on the rear, disc brakes on the front. You got good handlebar grips and your mechanical brakes. And of course, you have the motor. Kickstand on the back. But here's what's really cool about this arrangement here. Unlike most of these kind of scooters where the battery is built into the deck, the battery is set here so it's removable. They've designed this seat. There's a little tab back here. Flip that up. Seat folds forward. Unlock this. Lift that. And that battery comes straight out. Let's do a little walk around here and get a good look at this thing. I like it a lot. When Caroma reached out to me about this bike, they said I could pick whatever color I want, and I decided to go with this Stormtrooper white. I've had their black scooters and their gray scooters, and I wanted something that looked a little different, and this one really does stand out. It's very eye-catching. I've had a lot of people just stop and stare at me, trying to figure out what I'm riding. It's definitely an attention getter, but I feel very confident on this thing. I have not felt yet like I was just really in danger. Even when I was riding in traffic, it still gave me the power that I needed to get up and get moving. I think with modes of transportation like this, you really have to know what you're getting. Make sure that you're staying within that expectation. I think my favorite thing about this scooter is that removable battery. The ability to pop that seat forward and take that battery with you makes things a lot easier. My least favorite thing is that it doesn't have a tail light. It just has a reflector back there. You've got a headlight. You don't have any turn signals. You don't have a tail light. There's no brake light. It's one of those things where you have to pay attention to what everybody else around you is doing so you don't get run over. Like this guy. Let's get back out on the road here. Get out of these trolley tracks. I don't want the wheels to get caught in the trolley tracks.
What were they doing?
Something like this really does give you the ability to kind of open up and explore in places you might not have thought to go to before, or you just might not have felt like you were able to get there. Everybody's a rap star. This thing will even give you the ability to explore some history. For better or for worse. Another negative I'll offer is this thing's not a hill climber. Much like that last scooter, it really doesn't have that kind of power to it. It's just not made for any kind of a steep incline. So if you live in a city with a lot of hills, this is not going to be the thing for you. But if you live in an area like mine where it's flat, it's perfect. This thing will definitely get you where you're going. Folks at Caroma have been kind enough to offer a discount for my audience. If you're interested in seeing how much this thing would be with my discount, go down in the description box below, follow that link, go check it out. But now it's time to take it to the house. That's going to wrap it up for this one. Until the next one, prepare for the world that you live in, not the one you wish existed. We'll see you around.